Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast, and it is Playa Props on a Wednesday here for you guys. Got 11 games to choose from in the NBA tonight. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Got a couple game videos up for you, as well as this Player Props video. We're bringing you these each and every weekday of this regular season. Also want you to head to thelines.com. Nate throws all of the picks up on there, as well as these Player Props. Also have our odds finder tool and all those articles. You can go ahead and use that to make sure you're getting the best juice back on all the NBA bets you might make across U.S. sportsbooks this season. Nate, let's go ahead and get into your first NBA Player Prop for tonight.
Yeah, our MVP last year, Demar Derozan, and he's back home after a 6-game road trip where he was lighting it up again. 30% usage rate, 26 points per game. Nice peripherals too, 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Now, if you have some pause about the home road splits this season, they are pretty stark. 21 points at home versus 28 on the road. The usage rate drops by 3%, but look at last season. It was almost the exact same numbers when you get a larger sample size here. I don't think he's a guy who's that affected at all by the atmosphere, really. It's just a question of whether the Bulls are going to be in a close game. This one, 5-point spread, but I think the matchup is really good for him because the Wizards, they try to limit 3-point attempts, they try to limit paint points, and they leave the mid-range open. And that's why DDR is averaging 29 points, along with 6 rebounds, 6.5 assists on a big usage rate. His last 5 against the Wiz, and his last 2, again, they were on the road, though, in Washington, 32 points per game, 39% usage. So I like his 25.5 points, which is a much better price at FanDuel than DraftKings. That's kind of where you find the value. I don't mind the PRA, though, at any site, which is only 9 more in terms of the rebounds assists. Washington's been bad all over the place. They have a 123 defensive rating their last 6 and given up a ton of production on the wing in that span.
Yeah, I feel it. I'm never going to tell you not to take DDR in this situation. The Bulls, I hate watching the Bulls, and I hate watching the Bulls Wizards, and I'm not going to. But if you've got an opportunity to get some points up on the Wizard and the Wizards right now, that defense has definitely fallen off of a cliff. So I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to go first here with my first one being Ant Edwards. Feeling pretty comfortable with him. I'm going all PRA in this one, 35.5 for him in a game that's going to have a lot of possessions as they're playing the Indiana Pacers. These are the two teams with the fastest lineups in the NBA this season. Karl Anthony Towns is still out, which is a big reason. I mean, Taurean Prince is out as well. He's been out for a bit. There's a big reason that I feel good about Ant's production tonight. The last 2 games without Cat, versus Memphis, versus OKC, 27.5 points a game, 4.5 assists, 3 boards. All those numbers down with him. Actually gets a few more boards with Cat out there, probably boxing out for Ant to get in and get those rebounds. But 4 more minutes a game, pretty much the same usage, but still very high at about 28% this season. And like I said, it's a game against Indiana. He's going to be the focal point of their offense, as he was versus Memphis and OKC, where he compiled the 55 points that he's got in those 2 games. And their defense is just bad. I mean, over their last 10 especially, they're allowing 118 points a game to their opponents, 115 on the season as a total, 5th most rebounds allowed to their opponent. They allow a ton of stats to the opposing shooting guards as well. 4th most points per game, 5th most assists per game to those to that position. And like I said, with just the amount of possessions that you have tonight, and a guy like Ant who's going to continue to try to score either around the rim and been putting up about 8 or 9 free throw attempts a game over his last 3 or 4, you feel good about the usage and the opportunity for him to get at least like 27, 28 points, and then you feel good about 4 and 4 there for the rebounds and assists.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pure scorer, and he's been lighting it up since he played Indiana, which is interesting. They held him below 20, but also since then, their defense has been even worse, and they're giving up something like 5 threes to shooting guards in the last 7. So actually 2.5 3-pointers is his prop. Silly minus 150 on the over. But if you can move that up one or find it at a better price somehow, I would definitely take Ant to hit 4 threes or more here in this matchup. That's a good call. Tough matchup, it would seem, for Domantas, Sabonis, and the Kings, but their offense is traveling. It's good everywhere, and he's actually been a little more productive on the road, again, because they get into closer games. They're 7-point dogs here in Milwaukee, and Milwaukee had been targeting recently, saying that, look, their interior defense is bound to regress. It was the best in the league by far. It's not been as good the last couple weeks. They're actually giving up the 6th most paint points in their last 3. They're giving up the 2nd most assists to power forwards. And Sabonis is a guy who can fill up the peripheral stats and has recently against Milwaukee, 22, 5, and 7. When he was with Sac, he had 37 rebounds his previous 3 with the Pacers. So he's not a guy I just want to take the pure points. He can have such unique lines, if you will. 17.5 rebounds assists is good. 11.5 rebounds gets you plus money, or the full PRA package in his last 6, averaging in what adds up to 35 PRA, and that's where his prop's at. His lowest output was in a blowout win at the Clippers, where he still had 24 points and just only played 26 minutes. So on the road this season, those PRA numbers go up to 36. His usage rate goes up to 22%. And I think he'll be boarding up enough against the Bucks offense that isn't that great, and therefore is 19th in defensive rebounds allowed on the other end.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Domantas, baby. God, I love Domo right now so much. I think Kings fans feeling pretty good about the way that trade has looked. He's actually got like the 15th most assists in the league over the last 10 games or so, not going even further back than the 6 that you're talking about, where he's just filling up every single category. You just take the PRA and know that he's either getting 20 points and like 11 boards, which means he's going to continue to get those assists, or he's getting a few less points and attack on a few more assists, but he's getting the ball in the post, and they're playing off of him, whether he's pick and rolling with De'Aaron Fox or doing sort of a dribble handoff with De'Aaron Fox as well. It all looks really, really good with both these lefties playing together. So I'll take all of the stats for Domas each and every time for sure. I'm going to close things out here with something that might be a little surprise for you, Nate, but Jayson Tatum going under 28.5 points. He hasn't done that against the Suns. We talk about this being an opportunity to pick against the Celtics, which doesn't happen very often, so you might as well try to do it when you can. But in his last, I don't know, ever against the Suns, he's never had more than 26 points scored against them. He does board up. I'm not really gonna focus on those peripherals, but the way that the Suns play defense also just lends itself to being able to stop Tatum. They limit threes to extremely well, 3rd best in the league. In terms of either small forwards or power forwards, this is the strength of their defense and their team, and has been for the last 2 to 3 seasons, with like just a bevy of defensive wings that all stand 6'7" to 6'10", right? Hopefully Torrey Craig plays tonight to help out my prediction here, because if he does, I feel a lot better about it. But they're second best, whether it's small forward or power forward, they're second best in limiting points, rebounds, assists to all those guys. So if Tatum's going to be at 28.5 because it's Jayson Tatum tonight, I'm going to feel a little bit better about going under. It's minus 105. It's pretty much even money to get him under 29 points tonight, as opposed to minus 125 for him to get 29 or more. So I would just take the juice on that, knowing that there's probably some defense to be played tonight in a game that we also like the under.
Wow, Josh trying to get extra sharp here. Good luck. Everything I know about Tatum the last few years in terms of trying to project that into what's going to happen this year, like, Miami shuts him down, then he has 49. He is just he's on an MVP pace. I mean, he's top 3 any way you slice it. I'm not going to bet against him regardless of the matchup, but if he does go under, maybe this is the spot. Mikal Bridges and company, pretty tough. I would have a hard time feeling great about it.
There aren't many teams that I would be making this pick against, I assure you. But this is the position that they hold better than any other for the Suns. And if you like an under in this one, then it seems likely that he would get under 30 for that to happen. So either way, we'll see how this one goes tonight. That is all the time we have for you. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Check out the other couple game videos we have up for you tonight. Until we see you next, happy betting.